Yes, people, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Now the season is done, and I'm here today for a special show. I'm delighted to be joined by professional boxer and then more importantly West Ham fan, Mark Little, or better known as the Boleyn Boy. Mark, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Thanks, everybody, for joining in the chat as well. Right, Mark, I want to start back at the start with your boxing career to start with. So how did you get into boxing to begin with?
It's a bit of a mad one, really. I was massively overweight, so I just joined the gym, really, just to sort of make sure I started losing weight, feel a bit healthier. Met my boxing trainer there, thought I'd use him just to sort of keep me interested in the gym. And then the story went on. I went unlicensed boxing first. Had 12 unlicensed fights, won 10 of them. And then we moved on to the professionals. And then I ended up with 15 fights as a pro, won 13 of them. Then I retired last May. I retired.
Yeah. Good. So what was your favourite moment throughout your whole career, would you say?
Turning pro was a massive, massive thing. It was never really part of me really being a boxer at all. It was just I used the gym to lose weight, really, just to stay confident in yourself and stuff like that. And then when I got the opportunity to turn pro, it was like, actually, I've made something of myself here. I'm now a professional. So, turning pro was a mad achievement.
No, good. And, if you were to give advice to a young aspiring, boxer who wants to go pro, what would you say to them?
Train hard and listen to your coach massively. And the thing is with boxing, I mean, I know it's all over the telly and stuff like that. But for me, I was in a small hall shows, no real coverage or nothing like that. So you have to build your own profile, which is a hard thing to do. Lucky enough for me, I had West Ham behind me, which was great. You've got to build your own profile and just work hard and stay honest to yourself. So you can't lie to anything. You've got to be honest to yourself the whole time. And that's something I did. I dedicated my life to boxing for sort of 10 years. And it was hard to retire, to be honest with you. The hardest thing ever was retiring, but it was the right time to do it at that time. So,
yeah, that was my next question. How much of a big and difficult decision was it for you to retire last year?
Massive, to be fair. And it hurt. Do you know what? It affects me still to this day. Mentally, physically, it's impossible to have that routine that I was in was so important, and I didn't realise how important it was until I retired. And that's another thing I would definitely tell anybody. Once you're making that decision to retire, you must prepare yourself for it, because for me, I was only a small hall boxing, so I was never on TV or anything like that. But you've got to prepare yourself for it, because once you come away from boxing and that daily routine's not there and the highs of boxing's not there, then it's been that's been my major struggle, to be fair. Just not being around the boys all the time. I've sort of, to be fair, at my own thing, I've took myself away from boxing a little bit and just tried to concentrate on working. So it's been really difficult, really. But yeah, just prepare yourself more than what I did. I think I sort of jumped off it a little bit too quick. I should have prepared myself a bit better. But I'm learning every day, so it's good.
Yeah. Do you sort of like, if you go and watch a fight or you watch a fight on the telly, do you come to miss it?
Oh, massive! I miss it every single day, mate. If I could, not if I could, I should. I could go back in the gym tomorrow. Like it's the biggest buzz in the world, and because it's such an individual sport, really. Because once you're in the ring, it's just you and the other guy. There's nothing like it. It's not like playing football. I played football as a kid, and obviously that's great to be around teammates and all that. But to actually play, to fight, for me, there's no better feeling. It's the best thing in the world.
Overall, sort of with boxing, of course, as every sport has over the last few years, it's developed on with money and social media, and just specifically with money, the agreements that you see with the big fights on telly, with the likes of Joshua and etc. Do you think that's bad for the sport, the way things go about it?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think more money should be filtered down in the shows to the lesser fighters, because there's still people out there like myself. I was working as well as training for fights and that, and the money's never great. So I think there should be a way in which you could sort of split some of that money up and move it down to the lower fighters a little bit better. But then on the other hand, if you're that big fighter, what do you care? You're after the big money, and let's be fair, a bit like football. Does anyone really deserve that sort of money? No, you know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's the world we live in now. So yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I suppose that can be sort of like branded to most sports, and even if you link it to football, like, you know, obviously we all know the big money that the Premier League lot earn, and then all the way down to grassroots and you know, money. Do you think? I think as well should be separated more evenly across all of it to you know, sort of help the younger and, you know, next generation of talent come through and you know, be the next Joshua in boxing, for example.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like you say, there's so much money in the world that doing what it does. It's madness at the moment. But I suppose if you're the one earning that money, you're going to be happy with it. So
yeah, no, exactly. Do you think social media has sort of played a detrimental effect on the enjoyment of boxing as well?
yeah, I'm not a massive fan of all this YouTube boxing, but again, it sells, doesn't it? It makes a lot of money. If I was offered, you know, if you was offered a fight on YouTube fighter and they was going to pay that money, you're going to take it. So yeah, I suppose it works for the sport, doesn't it? At the moment, it's the way the world's going. Like everything's social media based, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Definitely.
I think that it's good and bad in everything, in there. So it's one of them, really.
Yeah, and just to sort of finish off on that, would you or do you have any regrets from your boxing career?
Yeah, the only regret I have is retiring. That's the only regret I have, and it's just a regret of I should have prepared myself more for it. I look back, I think maybe I should have had another fight. I should have had one more. But then what I achieved from my level of boxing was more than I ever expected. So it was sort of, I can't be too greedy, really. I've done more than what I ever thought. So yeah, it's not really a regret, but yeah, there's part of me that says I probably should have had one more.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you never say never.
Yeah, well,
never.
exactly. Exactly. You know, during your career, I've seen that you've worked alongside GT38 along the way as well, which, you know, which we support here as well. How crucial is it for you as well? You know, whilst you had that platform to try and extend out those sort of charities.
Yeah, because I mean, I get on very well with Tracy, obviously Dylan's mum, and I got into conversation with her to become an ambassador. So I'm still an ambassador for DT38, and I thought I'd use it more so because at the time boxing was predominantly more men than women. Obviously, women boxing has got a lot bigger now, but predominantly it was more men. So I just thought it's another avenue that she could use. That testicular cancer at the end of the day is going to be a lot more in men's boxing. So yeah, I just went with her with that idea, and yeah, she was happy to thingy. So yeah, it just become part of my sort of, not a sponsor, but who I sort of advertise on my gig to allow it to have more advertisement and stuff like that. I've done some 10K runs for and things like that. And I had a profile that was building really nicely with West Ham as well at the time. So I was able to push it more and more for them, which was great.
No, it's good. Yeah, you know, it's better for all of us. You know, the more, you know, the more sort of awareness we can put out there. Moving on to West Ham, then. Well, hasn't particularly been a bad month, has it?
No.
Start off at the start again. How did you become a West Ham fan?
My nan was a season ticket holder over Upton Park. My dad's not a massive football fan. He always took me to football when I was a kid and stuff like that, as when I was playing. Stuff like that, but never a real massive fan. So my nan was a season ticket holder, went everywhere. So yeah, I just started with her, and I suppose it's like anyone. Once you go once, it starts, and you can't. I've had a season ticket now since I think I was 14, 15 years old now. So yeah, I've had a season ticket quite a while now.
No, brilliant. And of course, the final in Prague 4 weeks ago today it was. What are your memories and thoughts on that a month on?
Unbelievable achievement from all of them. I thought it was a brilliant. I mean, not the best game of football, was it? No. To be fair, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the final's a final. As long as you win it, that's all that matters, and that's what gets remembered. Yeah, I actually watched it at the stadium. We went to the fan zone at the stadium, so we watched it there with a few of us. Yeah, it was brilliant, unbelievable. And we're European champions, so it's good.
Exactly. We can go everywhere next season now and sing, you know, champions of Europe. We know what we are.
Exactly.
I mean, we're sort of entering, you know, unknown and unforeseen territory for West Ham. I mean, it's been, you know, there's a stat of how many years it's been since European trophy, since 1980 for a major trophy, and do you think now we've got the bug of it? Of course, because somehow, obviously, because we're back in the Europa League next year. Do you think we'll try and get the bug for it now? And you never know, we might go on and try and win another one.
It can't be a bad thing, can it? It's got to be you've got to use it for a good thing. Whatever people think of that competition, yes, it's not the biggest European competition, but I think it attracts players.
Yeah.
A club the size of West Ham should attract players as well. So yeah, they've got to progress. They've got to push on. Otherwise, it's a pointless win, really. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And of course, a player that was a huge part of that, which we are now having confirmed is leaving, which we all knew, of course, is Declan Rice. We all didn't want him to go to Arsenal, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, I think that's the worst one. It could have gone anywhere else. I think people would have accepted it more. But I don't know. It's a weird one, really. I get he wants to go and win trophies. He's going to be playing in the Champions League and stuff like that. But are you guaranteed trophies at Arsenal yet? Maybe not yet. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was brilliant last year, and they were a great side last year. If they progress on again, I'm sure they will be around trophies again. I just don't believe. I don't think it's the right move for him. But then, where does he go? Does he go to City and have to fight for places there and sort of not maybe play as much as he would like? Because I think he goes to Arsenal and plays week in, week out.
Yeah.
And chances are he probably becomes their captain, I think.
Yeah, and it's just whether we all know that he wants to win trophies, and I mean they're guaranteed to be in the Champions League for one season, but will their squad be up to playing in the Champions League and keeping up that sort of aspirational goal in the Premier League to try and push City again? I'm not too sure, but one thing I do know is he'll improve that side.
Wherever he went, he was going to improve them. Wherever he went, he is an unbelievable talent, to be fair. But yeah, it's a shame he's gone to them. Really, that's the only thing.
Yeah. And now, of course, we've got a bit of money coming in, which we're expecting to ship straight back out. A couple of positions that you think we should be strengthening in this summer.
You have to replace him. You have to, because that's what it is. And I think you've got to replace him with it's got to be another star, because the likes of Lucas Paqueta and stuff like that, I don't believe stay if we don't make them sort of signings. No. And I think that becomes a real big problem for West Ham, because if you start to lose them sort of players, then you're sort of back to square one. So you do have to. I get we're not going to get someone like him straight away, but I do believe we have to replace well. I hear that Harvey Barnes could be coming. I think that's a good signing, Harvey Barnes. That doesn't replace Deck though, so you've still got to look for someone that replaces Deck. I think we still need another striker, because I'm not sure what happens with Antonio and Scamacca. Do they stay? Do they go? I just think massively we have to replace him in midfield. And if it means a couple of players, it's a couple, but you have to replace that.
Yeah, and I think especially as well after letting Manuel Lanzini go, who has in the past slotted into that defensive midfield role, it's crucial, as you said. Maybe we're going to need two in there, I think, as well. But to sign a proper player, because I think we've got to try and build this midfield and build this team around Paqueta now. We've got to try and keep that guy there, because we saw towards the back end of last season what the player he can be, and I think the only thing he's going to do is improve. If we can try and build a midfield around him and sign a very good midfielder just to sit and try and fill that hole that is going to be there without Rice, then I think that's what we've got to do. But we've got to make a decent sign, and we can't go out and buy the cheap option in this one, I think.
No, and that's one thing West Ham have been sort of, we know what they're like. They'll go out and do something like that. I think a cheaper option works. But no, I agree. We have to buy a star, someone who comes in, who's sort of already set for the Premier League, really. They have to come in and be ready to go straight away. We can't have this, a season, it might be all right in 2 seasons' time. That's not good enough. It needs to be, they need to be firing as soon as they come in. Who? I don't know. I don't know who you look for yet.
Yeah. Well, we all sort of sit here and we want, if players are chucked in our face, we go, okay. I think Moyes will be more safe. I think he might go with the sort of safety curtain of maybe a Premier League proven player, just to sort of eradicate that. Because last year we brought in loads of players from different leagues, and it took us 6
too long, didn't it?
It took way too long, and I think Moyes probably won't make that mistake again. And if he's got anything to do with it, I think he might look for a midfielder that has proved himself in the Premier League, that can come in and is already suited and adapted.
I think when you look at that, you're going to look at, like you say, with Harvey Barnes, he's played in the Premier League. James Ward-Prowse. The only problem is you're going to pay a lot of money for these players now.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really expensive. And if they know West Ham's got money, the price goes up.
Exactly. They're going to see West Ham come knocking and work out they've just had a load of money come in. They'll bump it up 10 or 15 million quid.
Exactly.
We can all see that. So that's the issues that we're facing this summer. And now we've got the money in, hopefully as quick as possible. We've got our first pre-season game in 5 days' time, and we haven't really got a midfield.
No, that's right. I mean, you know yourself, that first game is going to be very little. There's going to be very few first team players in that game. But you are right. If you're 5 days away from pre-season, you'd think the boys have got to be getting in close together soon, because it's just going to be too late.
Yeah. What aspirations do you think we should have for next season? Obviously, we've got Europe again next year. What do you think we should be aiming for?
I think you've got to concentrate on the league, because at the end of the day, that's the bread and butter, isn't it? Like we've got to do well in the league. We can't be worried about relegation again. I know we sort of got past that and we won a European Cup this year, which is great. But does that really overshadow what the league looked like really in the end? So I think the main thing's going to be the league. But if you can, I mean, we were done well in the Europa League the year before and done them both. So it seems like our players have sort of set themselves for that now, for the more of the Thursday, Sunday games, which is not great. But if they've got that in them, I think the league's got to be number one priority, because a club like West Ham, we can't afford to go down, because I just think we could be one of them sides that never come back. Yeah. So I think the league will always be priority, which is right. But Moyes always takes the Europa League takes it serious as well. So I think we'll be all right in there as well.
No, and I think that's what's going to attract the players as well. And yes, we did finish 14th last year. And to be honest, of course, in an ideal world, we'd like to go long in the Europa League as well, but not have to worry about until whatever it was, April, about worrying about Premier League survival. Because as you said, if we go down there,
exactly like you say, Europa League will be great. And again, you never know, you're going to win that. You play Champions League football. But we've got to be more serious, I think. And the league is going to be it's just the bread and butter. So we have to be right in the league first.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Mark, thank you very much indeed for joining me, mate.
Thanks for having me on, mate. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. And we'll just take a couple of comments as well. Lawrence says, think Arsenal are spending some money this window. I think Arsenal have seen the opportunity there after last year and went, right, we're going to spend. Havertz, I don't understand, to be honest with you, but they've signed a decent centre half. They've signed Rice now as well. So they're going to try and go for it again. I think it's going to be more difficult next season. I think Chelsea will be somewhere near up there. I think Newcastle will maintain.
I think Man United will as well, if I'm honest. I would have rather go to Man United, if I'm honest. But that's where I thought he might have gone. But I think United will be a good side again this year. I really do. I think they'll just start playing under that Ten Hag. I think they'll be a good side.
I do think as well, there's going to be more clubs up there. Chelsea won't do what they did last season again. Spurs won't do what they did last season again. Well, you never know. But and Liverpool won't be as bad as they were last year. So all those clubs are going to improve, which is going to make things more difficult for Arsenal. So it's going to be an interesting season for sure.
Yeah, definitely, mate. 100% there.
Yeah. So from us, come on, you Irons. Thank you very much, indeed, everybody, for joining us. And until next time, thank you very much. And hopefully, we can have a stress-free Premier League season next season, not have to worry about relegation. Mark, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers.